Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast live. I am your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have him back, ladies and gentlemen. He offered me, I can't remember, December, November, when he was on last time. You guys go back and check that one out too. And he broke down the Patterson Gemiln film with me, and he offered to come on and do the Zapruter film, and he's been going through some things, so we had to move it a little bit to today's date, but he's here live with us tonight. Mr. M.K. Davis is on, guys, and we're going to go through the famous film that was first presented by Geraldo, I think in the late 70s, early 80s. I don't quite remember the exact date it was, and that's going to be incredible. You know, Mr. Davis is very hands-on, and he says, let's look at the evidence and let's go break it down and see what the video actually shows us. So that's going to be fantastic. So let's go do some housekeeping. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. The best way to support me is to go ahead and go down and give me some love and, help me continue to do what I do. Just go ahead and click on the super chats and, send me a couple bucks so I can continue doing what I'm doing, because it's actually quite a bit of work on this end as well. Please do me a favor, go over to Magical Journey and like and subscribe to his channel as well. We love you, brother, and we wish you all the best over there. Jim Fisher of Spams the Night Watch. We have a little group going over here. We support and love each other. You can also find me in any MP3 format except for Apple Podcasts. I haven't got there quite yet. And just go ahead. If you got any, all the links are down below. If you want some merch, all that's there as well. And with all that out of the way, please welcome to the show once again, Mr. M.K. Davis.
Well, I'm sure proud to be here. Thanks for having me on, Tom.
Thanks for offering me the opportunity to come on, and also thank you for actually coming on. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, the Zapruter Film, it itself is sort of surrounded with some mystery. Mr. Zapruter was a Ukrainian. If you're going to look at who would have wanted to do something, you kind of look at the whole picture. Who was surrounding the event. To a point where it makes you wonder. If perhaps they might have had something to do with it. I'm not saying that he did, but if you look at it, he was Ukrainian. He worked for a lady named Gemiln before he went into business on his own for dressmaking. But Gemiln was also from Russia, in that area, and she ended up marrying George de Morenchild. And George de Morenchild was a Russian whose father was mayor of Minsk. And that was the city that Lee Harvey Oswald settled in.
Right.
You see what I mean? Those connections. You can't just say, I'm going to ignore them. And the list goes on and on with that, with the Russian / Ukrainian connection.
Yeah, wasn't he at some point, Lee Harvey Oswald, kind of like, not to jump the gun, he was kind of like over there, and he had like a Russian wife. There's a lot of weirdness surrounding that too, if I remember right, if I recall.
Yeah, it was a tremendous amount of weirdness and strangeness, and they use they kind of obfuscate what all they've been up to. You'll find out later on that Oswald was down there in Mexico City. What was he doing down there? Can't find out. You get rumors and innuendo. Somebody might say something, then deny they said it. It's very difficult to root out hard facts.
Yeah.
But to have that many people swirling around this assassination on the Russian side.
There's even I don't know if it's a conspiracy or not. I've always wanted to do more conspiracy type things, but when it comes to YouTube, you always kind of use, like, I would just say it, like, velvet gloves, I guess, to touch these kind of things. And as far as I know, there's also like a Cuban connection, like maybe possible CIA, where they were kind of down there with Fidel Castro and kind of swung it around because of certain things John F. K was doing with the if anyone knows this, like the money used to be red for a minute because he kind of took it away from the Federal Reserve System, and then they just took that, as far as I've heard, the conspiracy behind it, I can neither confirm or deny, and swung what they did going towards Fidel and just spun it around and went over to Dallas. And there's a lot surrounding this. So, of course, it was like when you offered to come down and, come here and say, I'm going to break down this film with you. I was like, like blown away because I know you are meticulous in the way you go about things. And every time I actually go through your channel, sir, and I look at the things you put forth, I'm just very, very on pins and needles here waiting for you to show us what you got.
Well, I'm sure you're probably like me interested in the actual facts of the matter. That's what I'm interested in. George de Mordenchild, after the assassination, he was given a contract to go look for oil in Haiti.
Interesting.
Well, Haiti it's long been a place where people launder money. It's been done over and over and over again, and George de Mordenchild eventually shot himself with a shotgun rather than testify in that second investigation that the Congress was underway later in the 70s.
Wow, I didn't even know. That's very convenient. Very convenient.
Yeah, you see what I mean. So in that light, let's look at some of the Zapruter stuff there.
Absolutely.
Let me go here. And I've done work on the Zapruter film, and I've done work on the Nix film and the Wigman film.
Okay.
I'm just loading them up here.
No, take your time. Everyone, we're fine. We're doing just fine. I'm just getting ready for you to show it to me, and then I'll present it. Hi, James. How's it going, my friend? How's it going? Good to see you back, buddy. Talking to people in the chat.
All right.
Okay.
What I want to do is go to a process that I had actually invented for clarifying the Patterson film, and I used it on Zapruter film. I says new procedure. Let me go and get on a share screen. Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go.
There we are.
Now go back. Do it again. This is some of the new procedure, and what it does is to absolutely eliminate flicker. Shot at slow speeds, and you can see it a little better.
Is there any way you can maximize that a little bit? There we go. It's very graphic, guys. You guys do know this was presented to the U.S. audience on regular television, I think in the late 70s by what was his name again? He used to be a television presenter. Geraldo, yes, Geraldo Rivera.
You ever wonder why it took that long?
When was it exactly, if you remember, sir?
72, I believe it was.
72. Well, that was then, 10 years? 62, like 63?
Abraham Zapruter eventually sold the film to Henry Luce, who owned Life magazine. Henry Luce was ambassador to South Vietnam for John Kennedy.
Whoa.
And they fought all the time, and he put Henry Luce in that position, hoping he would do less harm because they differed so dramatically in their philosophies. Kennedy was sort of he wanted to go the nonviolent way, the peaceful way. Uh, they know now that Henry Luce's tenure there as ambassador culminated in the assassination of the South Vietnamese president. He kept that film out of the public eye, and when it finally was shown, it had missing frames from it. Someone had actually pulled out of the motorcade when they turned onto Elm Street. They went straight.
Okay, before they hit the plaza, or as they were going into the plaza.
Right, before they hit the Assassination Street. As if they knew something was up. And it wasn't like LBJ or anything. LBJ, I've got some film of him, and he's actually waving at the crowd at the moment the shots began to be fired. And he was, I can't believe that anybody would be, not looking to see if he had arranged it.
Right.
He clearly didn't arrange it because he may have known who did, but he was not looking for that to happen. He was waving at the crowd, and the crowd was just standing a few feet from him. He's in the car. So those films, they help you. They help you to sort things out. At that point, I didn't go down the LBJ rabbit hole because I saw that.
Okay.
Now when you're looking at this really intense graphic film of his head, the damage taken by, and that's too much damage for a rifle. I've got some enhanced frames taken around that same time, 314, 315, 316, and it shows whenever the head comes open like that, it forms kind of a steam around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see that there's a vector in there. The steam is in a V shape, some going off to the left, some going off to the right, and that's a shock wave is what it is. There's two shock waves in his head, and they were fired almost together. One of those freak things where the two shots entered his head almost simultaneously. Now,
wow.
the next, that's why it blew his head so wide open. And you can see bones flipping. Let me see if I can find the bone flip. That's the limousine. Hold on. Bone flipping. Okay, here we go. See that bone right there?
Yeah, yes.
See it?
Yes.
That it was so catastrophic that it blew it, so far away from the vehicle, it ain't even funny. They found a piece of that skull out there in that grass out there.
I was going to ask you if they ever found that piece. Yeah. Okay.
Wow, there was another piece that went back on the trunk.
Wow.
You can see that steam around his head. Just watch it.
Yeah.
You see it white in this black and white. Yeah.
And that's the shockwave of the projectile actually hitting its target.
Yeah, it was too much. It was too much energy inside of his skull. It was two shock waves. They hit each other, and then
Okay.
they departed in a vector, and that tells you right there that there's two went in there at the same time.
Yeah, I think they just said that. I think that was released. They said they were going to release something, the current administration, and they basically said, yeah, there's more than one. It's more than Lee Harvey Oswald, and everyone like you and I and many others around the world are like, we know that. Could you maybe tell us a little more? you know.
That's full speed, just playing over and over. And like I say, when I watch these things, I kind of divorce myself away from the
The
emotion of
feeling,
it,
yeah, the
and
humanity, yes.
and just try to analyze it to the point where you see small things, but sometimes small things can be big things, or give you an indicator of what was going on in the minds of people.
Where does it when you look at this final, for lack of a better term, kill shot? Where would you say that is coming from? Because as far as I understand, the book suppository is in this shot off to the left about 150 yards. Where is this coming from?
Well, I assume one of them come from the book depository because on the Nix film you can see bullets hitting the street behind the limo. When Clint Hill was trying to jump up in there, that was after the kill shot, but they were still being fired. That's why it was such a everybody was in such danger, and that guy got hit, in the cheek, way down the
Yes.
street. The people
So
that were standing there close to the limo when it went by saw that bullet and tried to retreat. They backpedaled.
okay,
Uh,
so one's coming from the book suppository, and where's the second one coming from?
the second one I can show you. Hold on,
Sure.
hold on here. Let me find it.
So that's news to me that it's two at the same time, and you can see that from the shock wave of because of other videos that you've seen.
Yeah, I've
That's
got a better shot, a
news to
better,
me.
more enhanced version for that.
Mhm.
I have to find it, but hold on. There, I think it's over here under the Nix film.
Pam, I think the reason that the first lady, Pam asked a question. I think the reason that the first lady was turned and holding him is that he was already been struck once before this final
Oh yeah,
shot.
he got hit somewhere in the back, under, on in the back, over toward the right shoulder.
Right. So he was
He,
already struck. So she was like, "What's going on?" and like holding him and looking and trying to like see what's going on. And then boom, that last two now, which I was
now
unaware of.
this is from the Orville Nix film. It's taken from the opposite side of the street, aiming back toward or Abraham Zapruter. On they were facing each other.
Oh
You'll see
wow.
it now. Wait a minute, you'll see it in better form here as it runs. You see it trail. It trailed the limo. See it?
Oh okay.
Yeah, you see what's right in here.
Yes. Oh yes. That white little yes.
Yeah. Let it run out again. When I darken it down, you can see it better. And you see them backpedaling. All those people backpedaling. They saw it.
Yes. And they're backing straight up. They're not backing to the right. They were back. You know what I'm saying? Like
They
so
just
it's coming.
afraid. They saw all this happening right in front of them, and they saw that bullet. You can hear a bullet strike, especially on concrete like that. But uh,
It's heavy, man.
it was a lot of just blind luck that somebody else didn't get killed. Uh, Now, let's go back to the second shooter.
Okay.
Let me find. I've got to keep this one up here.
It's so cool how I get to actually see your computer and you're going through your file, and it's I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this work, so I have to kind of think about things a little bit. Well, I'll be. It should have been in the one that said Nick's on it. Let me just click on that and see if it shows it. The pergola. Let's just try it. I don't know. I must have X'd out of that thing. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Let me go back. And just type in the name of it. Let my computer do a little work.
There you go.
If it will. Okay, it didn't do it. Let me go back over here. Let me just go JFK. You really need to see the Weigman film. There, right here.
Okay.
Now this right here is that facade that is to Abraham Zapruter's left. Okay, and this facade, this facade is in the shape of a hyperbola. It's nothing but just an ornamental thing. But there's three of them in Dealey Plaza, and they face each other. What it does is project sound. A hyperbolic surface like that. And if you're in the focus of a hyperbola and you fire a gun, you're going to hear it. If you're on the left side, you'll hear it on the right side, projected out away from it. And if you stick a gun through one of those slots, you'll hear a slight double shot, like that. Because you'll hear it coming straight out of the barrel, then you'll hear it going back, hitting the hyperbolic surface of that pergola, and then coming back, projecting just a little behind the first one, and it sounds like a double shot, which they picked up on that policeman's mic. But look, watch these people right here, because they know where that shot came from. See the man run over there?
Could you make that a little larger, sir?
At first he's holding his girlfriend down, or his wife, and he runs over there and tries to pick up the guy through that slot. That's the slot, or one of the slots he used
to look through.
Yeah, he's on the back side, and somebody saw him and said that they saw him. Said they saw him pitch a gun to a man who put it in the car, and they both got in the car and drove off.
Whoa!
Immediately.
There's so much into this. Like, what is your thoughts on why this was done to the sitting president of the United States at the time?
That's a good question. There's several avenues they look at. They look at his connections to the mob and his brother, and how he had intimidated or tried to intimidate the mob. But I keep seeing this Russian connection, and he did a lot of what do you call it, behind backstreet communication with Russia that no one knows about. He would stick a handwritten letter in a book and have someone drop it off on a street corner, and Russians would pick it up.
John F. Kennedy would do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's trying to bring peace about through the backdoor channels, and at the same time look kind of tough on the front door. And you can anger somebody when you do those dances. You can anger somebody.
Right.
People with nothing but he. There's the CIA, the connection. The CIA had a lot to do with George de Morenchild getting his oil contract with Haiti. It was, unable to trace that money. It was laundered. The government of Haiti was crooked, corrupt, and that's where they would take money. If they didn't want anybody to be able to trace money, they'd pay people off by getting them some kind of bogus contract with the Haitian government. Might still be that way. I don't know.
Yeah, a question. Not that I don't know. Not to, what do you think about Jack Ruby?
Man, Jack Ruby I wouldn't turn my back on him. I tell you that.
Okay, well, would you mind being a little more, how would you say, specific in what you mean?
Well, he was in the mob in Chicago before he
Okay.
went down to Dallas. Yeah, he would do practically anything, and they picked the squeeze on him and got him to kill Oswald.
Right. So the people who don't know, like right after they kind of grabbed Oswald and implicated him as being the lone shooter, they kind of it was like, I don't know exactly where it was, but he was in a crowd of people, and this gentleman, whatever, I wouldn't say gentleman, this person came up and just offed, D. Harvey Oswald, and that was Jack Ruby. And I don't think that's the first time that's happened. I mean, there's also Booth who did Lincoln. There's always like this. People like to say, they like to call Oswald a patsy. What do you think about Oswald? What was like? What was with this guy? What is with this specific person, and why he would either do it? Do you think he also actually made the shot? Because as far as I understood, it's very difficult to shoot from the depository with a bolt action rifle on the, whatever it was, a fourth or fifth floor, whatever it was.
Well, you saw the bullets that were flying there in that little clip I had. It might not have been Oswald. He might have been innocent of the actual deed. But he was involved in some manner. They didn't get a chance to even look.
Right.
You sometimes somebody will confess if you want them to, if you put the pressure on them, but they didn't ever get a chance to do that. And it goes back to the mob / CIA.
You think it was the mob and the CIA? So the involvement of the CIA, you were talking about a crooked oil deal with Haiti. That is new to me from what, like I was saying just a couple minutes ago, that the CIA had a kind of a contingency trying to take out, Fidel Castro, and they just kind of swung it. They said, okay, this guy is trying to end this Federal Reserve, and let's go and just, go over here and take care of this. There's so much to sift through on this specific topic that we're on.
Well, it makes you wonder if not some of that still in existence. It gets you're entering into, you're treading dangerous waters there. You're talking about the deep state or whatever you want to name you put on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a large sums of money and corruption. Um,
Yes.
no one wants to go to prison. They know they've done deeds like horrible things, but uh, they I'm sure that they would rather put a bullet in their problem.
Yeah. As far as I understood too, I don't know how much you know about this. Like a lot of the witnesses kind of mysteriously perished.
Yeah. That all of that is, to and continue to perish for quite a few years. Uh, well, the one of the bullets hit the curb, and they found where it hit it and shattered the concrete. And they took a concrete saw, and sawed that entire curb out with the bullet hole in it, and put it in the back of a car, just a regular car. I don't know whose car it was. It was a white car, and carried it back. And they said that they had put it under some kind of a legal protection thing where nobody can look at it for 75 years.
Ooh, that sounds like something they recently tried to do with a specific vaccine.
Try to make it where you can't examine it. You know,
Yeah.
why would the U.S. government even agree to do that? That
Hmm.
it's it's not it frustrates is what it does. I mean, I found other things, that they have what they call these more obscure people like the Badge Man. I'm sure you've heard of that. Uh, you can enhance all you want, and the most you can get is just a very indistinct person behind the wall, behind that wall that Abraham Zapruter was standing on. And they say a puff of smoke, but it's really the quality is too poor.
Okay.
Uh, and
The
then
Badge Man.
yeah, the Badge
Right.
Man, then the Shadow Man.
These
I see.
are
I've got some of the
yeah.
Shadow Man.
Okay.
Hold on here. Let me find it.
Hey, Squatcha Holler. How's it going, Roger? Roger Dodger, buddy. He'll be on soon too, guys. We're gonna get into some things. Good to have you here, Roger. Good to see you, buddy.
Let me see
Have
if
go
I
ahead and punch up his stuff for me so I can pop it up for me. All right, let's go ahead and add this to the stage. We're going to see the Shadow Man, guys. The Shadow Man.
I just
This
looked at
is
it a while ago. I know it's
this
got to
was
be.
the Badge Man was quote unquote on the if my memory is a little faulty, please correct me, Mr. Davis. But he was on the grassy knoll as well. There's like a policeman who did something and just kind of got in the car and just drove away. Is this the Badge Man?
Yeah, but that's the Badge Man right here. See, he's behind that wall, and that's
Right.
too indistinct. It's too indistinct. They say he's wearing a badge.
Right. Now I see it. Now I see it.
Not to say that it couldn't be correct. It could be. But let me show the Shadow Man. I can find it here. Let me go to Nick's presentation. I gave a presentation at the Nix family had an event where Gail Jackson Nix had written a book, and they invited me over there,
Okay.
and I gave a presentation there. There's a lot more stuff that I had. It's bringing back memories. Let me
That's
click
fun.
on
That's
this.
fun sometimes to kind of go down to look at
Yeah,
things from the past.
I,
Sometimes it's very fun.
I circled the path of the bullet there on that one.
Oh, you can actually see the path.
Yeah, it was they were trying to move the bullet up to fire it, hit the inside of this limo, But the limo was picking up speed, and they just kept hitting the ground behind it. That tells you that it's not close. It's from far away. That's all
Right.
it does. It tells you that it's from far away. They couldn't judge it. But let me get to Shadow Man. I'm gonna find it. I don't know why it's not on one of these. The bike rider. I got the bike rider stabilized. He came.
Okay, who's the bike rider? Who's the bike rider?
It's a policeman that rode right up. I mean, where you could look over in the car, and then he just slammed on brakes. Everybody went by him.
Roger's giving you some love here. I grew up watching MK break down and analyze video. He's joking, but I watched several hundred hours and some more than once. So we got people here giving you some love, Mr. Davis.
I appreciate that.
Go over and check out Mr. Davis's channel. What's the name of it again? What's the name of your channel, sir?
Green Wave.
Green Wave channel. Please go over and check out Mr. Davis is an incredible video as well as picture analyst, and he doesn't play, guys. That's why
Wave. It's Green Wave 2010 FB.
There you go. Green Wave 2010 FB. Thank you.
I'm going to go back to the scratch to find the.
Go back.
Here's the badge man again. That's somebody kind of helped it. You can see. That's not an actual enhancement. It's more of artistic rendering.
Right.
You want to know how careless people were? The Secret Service were careless. Good God. Let me find that. Under limousine, I'll show you what I mean. You get some of these higher quality photos that were taken, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. They didn't shut either door on either side. They're open to come open. See that? I mean, he's got his hand leaning on that door. He could just tumble out of the son of a gun.
Oh, right. It's not completely latched onto the bolt there. Okay.
Yeah, hold on just a minute.
But take your time. Oh, you got yourself a nice subscriber there. All right.
Yeah. Right. You got and the other side as well. That tells you that the amount of care that he was getting as far as security goes, he was more apt. He was more apt to get hurt by the Secret Service than protected.
Yeah.
Now you see they got one window up partly right here. I guess keep her hair from blowing, but you can go back to the other side and see. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Hold on. Let me find the limousine with the door. Limousine. You have to find the right photo. That's not it. There it is. This is the other side, and it's the same way.
Yes, it's ajar.
They didn't shut their door. Hold on just a minute.
No, not a problem.
Yeah. Hey, Chris. You there? Yeah. I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Let's make sure and give him some privacy, guys. All right. If you guys are enjoying this, please let me know and decide there. This is there we go. All right. I muted your mic, sir. I try to make sure you have a little bit of privacy and things.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Life goes on, buddy. Life goes on.
It's live broadcasting. So you see what I mean now?
Could you zoom in a little bit more, sir, so people can see that? There, it's definitely a jar.
These doors open backwards.
Suicide doors. That's interesting.
Yeah, they don't. So that's open and ready to spill whoever's leaning on it out.
That's weird.
And you got these dudes right here, man, look like they'd shoot you in a heartbeat, but they're the ones that left the door open.
This is Secret Service.
Yeah. They've been
Yeah,
up
they
all
dropped the
night
ball that day.
partying. They partied all night the night before. They uh well, it was what you call a perfect storm. Uh
Yeah.
Whoever was trying to kill him had also tried to kill him in Chicago, and it didn't work out. And they tried to kill him again in Miami, and that didn't work out. And Dallas worked out. But it was accidental, that
It's
everything
so
came together.
dark to say. I mean, we're saying it. This is, this happened, what, 50 years ago? Yeah, 40, more than 50 years ago. And to say it like that is such a dark. So I guess we're working on that 75 to get that piece of concrete there. The 20 years, I guess, we got left. It's such a dark thing. Like, we're supposed to be, like this, being in America, we're supposed to be this beacon of prosperity as well as, like, truth and things like that. And then we can do things like off, our representative, president. And it's so disheartening.
Yeah, well, there's your big gap. See, the chrome don't line up or nothing. See,
Yeah. Wow. That
it's
is
ready.
that.
It's ready to come open.
If that was a new door, this is the '60s, guys. That would be beeping all over the place, and you'd have to stop the car and hey, mom, shut the door. Uh, have you ever considered? I don't know if there's much there to be seen. Have you ever considered to look into the attempted Trump assassination?
Well, I would definitely be interested in doing it, but I have to wait till they release some stuff.
Okay.
It was a long time before the Zapruter film was released, and somebody got it and scanned individual frames and released them in their entirety, all the frames, and that's what enabled people like me to be able to
There's
look at it with a
there's a
microscope.
isn't there a weird frame? There's a lamppost, and it looks kind of off.
Yeah, people say that. I don't know because funny things can happen with film, especially the lower qualities, uh, which 8 millimeter is that it's got a small lens, and the lens what it does is produce home quality. It's kind of, you try to magnify it, you magnify the flaws, and then it becomes, you got chromatic aberration in the lens. I can filter that and improve it quite a bit,
Uh-huh.
uh, and then take that flicker out and stabilize it, and then you got a pretty good decent film. You know, it's when all the frames are available, and they are available now.
We have a question from Roger. He writes, is it true that the Zapruder's film was spliced horizontally?
Horizontally
Yes.
spliced.
Yes. I don't know what that
As
means.
far as I know, it was. That's kind of the standard way to splice them. Just you cut. You can repair film that has broken, then it frequently break, or you can add it to or take away from, edit the film, and it's not unusual at all. Well, something like that took place while it was in the possession of the Life magazine.
That
So
sounds
you can see
so
you.
much like the
Gosh,
things I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. It sounds so much like the things they try to do with a lot of things when it came to this laptop from the Hunter and a lot of things. So back then it would be a magazine or some type of like broadcasting channel, and now it's like social media. So it's been going on for a while, guys. This is I'm finally getting into like what I really like pees me to be honest with you, is this dark underwater backcurrent hidden hand that parses information, whether it be the Epstein files, which have been mentioned on the right, whether it be the Vegas debacle or 9/11. I would love to go with, if somebody has like some definitive, like, videos of 9/11, like, Tower 7 and things like that, I would love to go through that too with somebody. That's some crazy stuff.
This says steam flip. Let me look at it. That's where I was trying to look at this debris. You see how wide open his head is.
Yes.
That's not that was done by two bullets simultaneously, and you couldn't train two people to fire that quickly together. It just happened.
Didn't they?
There's literally nothing left of his head.
Like the whole front right quadrant is kind of like just folded forward. Then they say something like they took him on a plane, and then like while they were looking at him and giving an autopsy, that the actual bullet was on the gurney.
Oh yeah. Watch this right here. Let me get out of all this advertisement. Get rid of this. This is the highest possible contrast. There he is, and watch that little steam.
Yeah, dude, that is.
Yeah. That's hot. It's hot. Somebody done steamed your brain, you have zero chance of survival. He was dead even right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like for all the world to see, it's incredible. It's kind of like for me, it's kind of like look what we can do when you fall out of line, when you don't do what we want you to do. It's scary. It's scary as hell to me, Mr. Davis. I gotta be honest with you. It's very bothersome.
This is the first wound.
There you go, Pam. This is your. Could you enlarge that a little bit, please?
I certainly can.
Thank you. You can see where he actually kind of like grabs his chest there. You can see and that's when Jackie.
He tried to talk to her. He didn't get much chance. You see, Governor. What was Governor of Texas?
Right, I can't remember his name either at the moment.
I can't remember his name either, but you see him react. It hits him at the same time. That's same bullet hit them both.
And that's from the left? That's from the back, from the left there?
It came through his back, came out of his throat down low, and then entered into Governor Connolly.
Connolly, there you go.
Yeah. And then it went through it hit his wrist, I think. It went through him, hit his wrist, and then embedded in his hip. On the opposite side or something like that. You see how all the innocent people all around.
Wow, they really wanted him. They wanted him taken out. And this was after Eisenhower. Eisenhower had his infamous leaving the office, like State of the Union, be careful for the military-industrial complex and it undermining our democratic processes. And then he comes into office, and I think what was Eisenhower finished? I think either 58 or 60. I think 60. And then this happens, I think 2 years. I think it was 62. Is this just right? It's 62 when this happened, right, Mr. Davis?
63, November 22nd of 63.
And it's a pivotal moment in American history, and it's very bothersome. It's very bothersome. I don't know what the implications of what this is. I believe we're in a very specific moment in our history right now. And I just found it to be very fitting that we're going through this at the moment.
They give us assassins 3 names.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yes, they do.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
John Wilkes Booth.
It dehumanizes them.
Does it?
Yeah, it has a psychological effect.
Okay.
If you just called him Lee, it sounds like you're friends with him or something.
Right.
Lee Harvey Oswald did it. It's putting just a stamp of guilt on him. It's just a way of doing it.
Jackie is pointing at somebody there, isn't she? Is that Jackie's arm coming up?
Yeah,
Her
that's
right
her.
arm?
She's got white glove on. That's her.
That's her. Yeah. Someone wrote that's Mr. Kenny. It's not Mr. Kenny.
I
He's
think
got
she
both
was
of his hands
trying
on
to
his.
point back where she heard. Everybody said that it sounded like fireworks going off.
Right. Oh, so they give them three names to dehumanize them. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
if the next big assassination, they'll probably do it
Oh, then the
again.
one who was the guy who in 1982 who tried to do what is his name? What was the name of the president? Oh my God, used to be an actor. Ronald Reagan. He also had three names.
Yeah, John. Well, I don't know too much about that one, but probably need to look into it too.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. What was it? Did anyone remember off the name top of their head? Who was the name of the attempted assassination? Who was the name of that guy? I can't. Oh, it's escaping
John
my brain.
Hinckley. I don't know what
John
his middle
Hinckley.
name.
No, it was John Hinckley. You're right. It was John, and he did it for the love of for a woman,
Jodie Foster.
for
Jodie
Jodie
Foster.
Foster. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, he's loose right now. They let him go.
Yeah, yeah.
He's crazy as a loon.
While someone's writing, yes, if you, I don't know if you can see that, Mr. Davis. I don't even want to say it out loud, but I think they already tried, and they already tried once, and we'll see. I hope God willing, I don't think anyone should have to go through. I don't, whatever it is, to do this because you disagree with somebody. It makes me very angry and upset. Who's okay? Yeah, it's just it's such an.
Kennedy was a hero himself. I mean, he had saved all kind of lives on that PT 109, and he swam all night carrying a wounded friend.
Yeah, he had an awful back, as far as I remember. He had a very bad back.
Yeah, he also had they injected him every day with testosterone. They didn't fully understand what that would do to the human body, but it's partly responsible for his inability, to resist women.
That's right. That's right.
He went beyond normal.
He was out there. That's right.
Yeah.
He was, doing whatever he was doing, to put it mildly. That's interesting. I never even thought of that. I didn't even know that they were injecting with testosterone. No wonder he was, okay, let's go ahead and do that route. He's a womanizer. I didn't know. I just thought he was just, that was his libido.
He had a back problem, that it was so bad that he was almost ready for a wheelchair. And they gave him every day, daily doses of testosterone. I guess they thought it would, man him up or whatever. But you can't just overdo that.
Is there any connection? Yeah, I'm sure. Is there any connection between him and his brother also being taken out in the hotel in Los Angeles?
You talking about Robert with Sirhan? I don't really know if there is a connection. Sirhan says he didn't do it. They won't let him out. He says he didn't do it. That someone else had done it. No, he said he did it, but someone had what do you call it?
Forced his hand.
Brainwashed him. He don't have he don't have a memory of it.
Well, you're in the right channel for that. I mean, if you want to go into MK Ultra and all the things that they can do, I don't see that. For me, is not out of the purview of being a possibility. Honestly.
Yeah, I wonder about those kinds of things because there's certain things they know that they did with people.
Oh yeah,
it'd make a person on their own do some kind of devious, terrible thing, and that would have never done it otherwise. That's you're looking at the underworld of mind control and CIA.
Oh yeah. I've had plenty of people on who've talked about that in great length and what they actually do and how they're chosen and the like having to go back and kind of like, how would you say that, like they go and they get hypnotized and going back and having regression therapy because something sparks their memory. And the government has done people go, oh, you think they've done all that? And I go, yeah, dude. It's wild. It's wild.
I wanted to find the one that shows that vector real good. I'm still looking for it.
It's not a worry. I
Some
like
things are labeled with JFK, some with Kennedy. I just these were done a long time ago, and I forget what I put them under.
yeah, I do that all the time. I go back just looking at my thumbnails for the show, and I'm like, where did I put that at? Just the thumbnails alone. So, like, what is it? 2024 live podcast? Where did I put all that at? It could be quite confusing and difficult sometimes, especially. So this is like, so you just sit down and you're just like, I'm going to look into this. This has like always been the thing that you've just been interested in.
Let me go back one more. Each drive, E drive. Okay.
Oh.
There's different Wagmans.
Yeah, if you want to, we can go into that a little bit too, if you're willing.
I've got. I had the Wisemans, and I had it broken down. Um, Hole in the windshield and Dealey. They had a crack or a hole in the windshield.
Uh-huh.
Something hit it. Something hit it. But how could it not? With all that flying around, something other things bound to be hit. Here's a JFK curve stone. Let's look
Do you have a picture of this?
right there. That's the one they saw. They sawed the whole thing out of, put
Yeah,
it in
but
a white car.
why would they do that? It's just okay, we see it. I guess maybe from that you can kind of see, maybe possibly through some type of forensics, that you can see the caliber of bullet that was actually fired, and they didn't want that to be known.
Well, when you saw what was going on behind the limousine behind Clinton Hill, and on the ground, that those bullets were striking.
Right?
This is probably in that same barrage.
How many bullets do you think were actually fired during this whole episode?
I don't know. It was quite a few. Uh, that's why I say the original. When they went up there, they found different evidence than they finally admitted they found. They say they found a different rifle. They say that Italian rifle didn't show up till later.
What?
Yeah, they found a completely different rifle when they first went up there to that window.
And this is in the Warren Commission?
Well, it's in other reports that I've read, and so that
Just muddying the waters more.
yeah, it really is. And so you got if any. They don't have anything on uh, Oswald or Lee. I'm just calling him Lee.
Yeah.
Just assuming his innocence, which is what we're supposed to do. Uh, it they don't have it. They don't know who was using the rifle. They couldn't find any fingerprints or anything on it. So then, lo and behold, they take the rifle and take it to Oswald and put a fingerprint on it while he was in their custody.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. He says, I'm a patsy. I'm going to get off. He wasn't
He
even worried
said
about
this?
it. Huh?
He said that?
Yeah. Well, he didn't say I'm going to get off, but he said I'm a
He's,
patsy, which means you're innocent. You're being used. Uh,
but he's also saying he's admitting too that he's involved.
that he was. Well, that we don't know because he didn't get to.
Right.
He wasn't on Earth long enough to talk to him much.
Whatever happened to Jack Ruby? I can't
He
remember
stayed
all
in
the.
jail a few years, I think, and then died of cancer in jail.
This is there's do you have any hopes that this current administration will actually release any more information?
I do. I do. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if they even put the real damning evidence on a document. This is some real, undercut under the table stuff. Um, but it's possible. The people have uncovered some really damning evidence, but what they do is just flood it with a whole bunch of peripheral stuff. You
Right.
know, they just make it so difficult. They make you just give up.
Yeah. It's part of yeah, it's part and parcel for what they do. It's incredible. And it's also kind of like a excuse me. It's kind of like a message to, John Q, taxpayer, like, oh, you step out of line and this will happen to you. I mean, they even happened to who's the guy who I can't think of his name. He was in his car and he just hit a brick wall like 100 miles an hour.
Hey, there's your
Michael
curbstone.
something. Okay, let's go ahead and show
They
this
cut it.
again.
You see, after they cut it out, piece of curbstone. Uh, what about the fellow that got hit by the
Michael
fragment
Hastings.
of the bullet down at the other end? You know, he was way down there just sitting by this overpass.
Right.
Right where is that me sitting there? Yeah, it's me sitting there.
Oh, you've actually went there.
Yeah, I went by there. Me and my wife went by there. And we went on vacation. I looked it all over. I went all up on there and up on the grassy knoll. And
It's so it just not to poke fun or anything. It's just such an interesting thing that now this place is kind of like a tourist type attraction for one of the most mind-numbing dark parts of American history that were actually filmed. For me, it's such a mind f, if you don't mind. I don't know how to even like process that correctly. Just the darkness that is quite incredible.
yeah, well, they've done a pretty good job of not altering things, with the exception of this piece of curb. Everything is pretty much like it was then, and even the fence, it wasn't complete. It had some replaced some of the wood, but
Yeah.
some of the wood was still original.
Wow.
Uh,
And you were able to determine that by going up to it and seeing the splits in the
yeah,
boards, or
yeah, you could see where they had replaced some of them in the area where there's supposed to have been a gunman. People just broke them. They took a piece home with them. But
it's such
but
a strange species.
the
What a
rest of it,
strange thing to
the
do.
rest of it looked like it could have been vintage. Uh, and it had an X on the pavement where he received the first shot.
Wow. So how far away? Because I've seen Jesse Ventura. He had his show on. How far away from the book depository was he when the final shot rang out that actually took his life?
Well, I would have hated when the president first turned onto that street. He went kind of behind some trees, which are growing right under that window. And he had to wait till he cleared those. And when he cleared them, it was a pretty good shot. I mean, it wasn't no easy shot.
Did
So, uh,
didn't Oswald? Didn't he have some training in Russia or something like that too?
yeah, he was a pretty good shot, but he wasn't. All the Marines went through that rifle training.
Of course we do. Yeah, I wasn't a Marine, but
Yeah.
Army, but yes,
Uh,
of course we do.
I don't think that he was extraordinary.
Either was I.
Well, I mean, snipers are talented people that kind of born with it, and
Yes,
it's they got that ability.
it's difficult to do. I mean, just breath control and trigger control and all that. It's especially the ones that can go long distance. They gotta like calculate like the curvature of the Earth and the spinning of the Earth and air pressure and barometric pressure and all the things that are involved. But as far as I understand, this was about I think about what 100 yards, so maybe a little less. I can't remember exactly.
Well, let me see if I can find a picture. I've got my vacation pictures. Let me go to those.
Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Give a little bit of context to everyone because this has happened so long ago. This is before I was born. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, especially the part where they put his fingerprints on the gun like intentionally while he was in custody. That's insane to me. I didn't know that. And the two-shot thing at the same time, that is something that is new to me as well.
I think I'm gonna find that probably on here. Yes, there it is, right there. I gotta make my way to it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Marlon and Debbie down the strip. Start. I colorized some photos. I got this photo at the sixth floor museum. I just took a picture of their photo.
There he
I'll
is.
show you. I'll
I
show you the
see Harvey
colorization.
Oswald right there.
Yeah, this is not colorized right here, but I colorized it. Just trying to pick up some kind of a hint. Like this guy right here, he don't act like anything's even going on. They were sneaking him out because they were couldn't get him out the front door, so they trying the back door.
Mm-hmm.
He knew they were coming out there. Oh, Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go back over here. Let's see here. There it is. They got the window up.
Is that the
I think
the
that's it.
second window up? Okay. Wow. That's the X of the first shot. Wow.
Now you see those trees are still growing. Let me go
Right.
back. Well, it'll give me my control. There we go. They're much more expansive now.
Right.
They
Of
were
course.
a lot smaller tree then. At X would be way back over here. So you kind of just look way up on well off the computer screen. Uh,
Mm. This is from the grassy knoll. It's honestly looking at it being a former military man myself, it is the perfect position. It is the perfect position to go out and orchestrate
see it.
into. He was in one of those arched windows there.
Yeah, I suppose. That's the one I took it to be because it was up. They won't let you in that to go to the window. You can go to the one
No.
adjacent to it.
That is a famous joke from one of my favorite comics ever, Bill Hicks. You know, you can't actually go to the window because they don't want, what do you say? They don't want, thousands of Americans every year going up to window, looking out the window and going, there's no effing way, man. Unless Odwell was hanging by his toes. They're lying to us.
Well, you see look at the distance. Look at the distance.
Mm-hmm.
All the way off the field of view, way over here, with him driving it about 9 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's not 100 yards. That's 50 yards tops.
I don't know. I'm not that good at estimations, but I couldn't make the shot.
Oh, I wouldn't say I could. I wouldn't even. I mean, setting aside my moral apprehension to doing so, even if it was like a deer that was riding in a car. Sorry, my comic brain just came through.
See that hyperbolic structure right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's across the street in another place. There's 3 of them. This is built a little differently, but that's the one I'm standing where Abraham Zapruter was standing.
Oh, wow! Yeah, he was on top of that concrete pillar there.
Yeah, and Weigman film, the man and the woman, were somewhere around here. And you see how they got up and ran and looked back through that slot.
Oh, because they heard it from behind there, or what?
Right. They probably saw him. And Zapruter said he could hear it off to his left. I believe he said that.
What happened to Weidman?
I don't know. I got a picture of that facade from behind. Let me see if I can find that.
Someone was behind the facade.
Same one here. That's the fence on the grassy knoll.
That's the parking lot behind it too.
Yeah.
Where they seen someone actually get into a car and leave. Wow, dude. Oh, man.
These have been replaced.
Yeah, that's board and batten stuff. That stuff is doesn't last a long time. Oh, you can see the original there on the bottom. Yeah, that's also a position for such. This is your vacation. This is what you enjoy doing. You go to.
Well, no. We left there and went out to Chaco Canyon to look at some Indian ruins.
Right.
But I wanted to stop and get that perspective myself.
Right.
That's supposed to be another mark on another spot that was hit. Or either maybe they just remarked the curve after it was replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody. Oh, there's people standing in there. See them?
Yep. So it's up above. It's up above. Yeah, it's a good position to be in, man. If you're going to do something like that, that is. Oh, there you go. That's the perfect picture. That's a great picture, Mr. Davis. There it is.
That may give you a little better perspective.
Yeah, dude. It's heavy, dude. It's a Friday. This is wow. Imagine driving in a vehicle there, just being like, "This is where it happened." I can't even. There, there you are in the roads.
I don't think I should have done that.
No, looking back. Okay.
People go out there and stand on it, and then get their picture taken right quick. Be traffic coming everywhere.
Yeah, that's. I think that. Oh my lord. Okay, so Mr. Davis, I appreciate you coming on tonight, my friend. I really, really appreciate it. And if you ever, have any, other things you ever want to bring forth and talk about, I always really enjoy our talks and our the presenting of the information that you find. Like if you guys ever want to go back and look at the Patterson Gemiln film, the braided hair is to me the smoking gun to go ahead and tie those two together. Of it. Sorry, once again, my comedic brain to do that. I really appreciate you coming on, my friend. I think I really appreciate your films. I really appreciate your dedication to doing what you do, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. This is the back of the pergola. This would be where the man
okay, you finally got the picture. Okay.
Thrown the rifle, and he drove off. Of course, that Dealey Plaza and all was on the other side.
Right. This is the parking lot. There you go. That's what he was trying to show me.
There were people on these railroad tracks too. I understand that they never have accounted for. They weren't supposed. They were mysterious people.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is from atop the overpass.
Yeah, the overpass. I should be down here. I'm back at Chaco Canyon now. So
there you go. Yeah. Once again, thank you so very much. One more time, could you tell me to tell everyone the name of your channel so they can go and check out more of your intake and depth? Like once again, the fence climber, I think it's called. It was one for me. It's my second favorite. Honest, okay, these cryptids known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch are real. That video is my, of course, the Patterson Gemiln is my favorite. But that your breakdown on that and what happened, the grunts in the barn that you showed me last time, all those things.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of your channel one more time?
Greenwave 2010 FB. It's an old football channel. Greenwave was West Point Greenwave. And when my son moved from West Point, he was in a newspaper business there.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, I don't know what else to do with it. I'll just move my Bigfoot stuff over here.
Well, that's why, I mean, you got it's not a super huge channel, but it's a good channel. I've actually looked at it myself, and you guys go over and check it out. I mean, if you enjoy how Mr. Davis goes through and breaks down everything as well as I do, and everyone in the chat today, go ahead and check it out.
Here's that. Hold on. Let me. Well, it may be too late, but I was going to put up that Wagman film again. Sure. We'll do it at another time.
Oh, we could do that another time. We could do whatever whenever you're able to. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I'll be sure to have everything rediscovered by then. I've got probably 10 different folders that I put them under different names.
Yeah. Well, Personally, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you were able to take some time on a Friday night. You're a family man yourself, and I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
I sure appreciate it. Appreciate
All
being
right,
here.
I appreciate it. So once again, guys, this is the Eye of Jupiter. We are the Eye. We are aware. Thank you all.